Our reporter Ahmed Kajee at that briefing today. Ahmed, good afternoon to you. Glad you're able to join us this afternoon. Okay, there are different phases of this water plant. They all cost lots of money. How's this going to work?
So the first phase, which will be taking place from October of this year right through until June of next year, correction, is going to be from September this year until November of this year, and that money has already been allocated and is within the budget. So if one happens to worry about phase one, that phase was actually focusing on the repairs of the Royal water treatment plant. That was suspended at 68%. Edwin Sodi was involved in some of the tender irregularities on that front, and that involved some of the suspension of that contract as well. So the money, according to the city of Tshwane, they have that as well. The second phase will be taking place from October of 2024 until June of 2025. That's going to then include the desalination of nearby dams and to just increase the megalitres at the particular plant. And then going from there right through from July of 2025 right through until June of 2026. This is when they are hoping that the entire treatment plant is going to be fully functioning, and obviously this will be costing 4 billion rand. They are hoping for investment coming through from funders for phase 2 and phase 3, and they are hoping that this intergovernmental collaboration and cooperation, which Fikile Mbalula spoke about yesterday during that briefing, and which has also been spoken about by the minister, saying that this collaboration will work. They are hoping that this particular collaboration will instill confidence, instill trust within those funders coming in, and in this way or form can get funding for that phase 2 and phase 3, 4 billion rand coming through as well.
In the meantime, people in Hammanskraal have been relying on water tankers. Are they still going to be provided?
So it looks like water tankers will be the name of the game for the residents of Hammanskraal, at least until March next year. I think if my mathematics serves me correctly, that's a good 10 months worth of water tankers coming through in the cold weather. Whether this will actually be sufficient for the number of residents coming in, the mayor had spoken about the fact that the population of Hammanskraal has increased in recent years with the infrastructure deteriorating. So even though water tankers will be coming in over the next 10 months, what will the demographic, what will the population number be like in the particular community? And then also taking into consideration the fact that whether these services and whether these water tankers will be delivered appropriately and whether these residents will be getting the water supply between now and March next year.
They also cost the city of Tshwane a lot of money, don't they? So you've got the money that you need for the new water plant, and you've got the money that you need to spend just on keeping the residents of Hammanskraal going through the water tankers.
Yeah, and the mayor had spoken about the fact that, you know, they're actually thankful that the budget was passed yesterday over in Tshwane. He said there would have been major challenges around the passing of this particular project, at least over the next 3 years, let alone, you know, these next 3 to 4 quarters coming through, at least the next 10 months with those water tankers coming through. So I think with the budget being allocated as well, they are going to be exceptionally grateful that this can be implemented. But whether that will be taking place, we'll have to see over the next 10 months or so.
In the meantime, we still don't actually, as far as I know, have a scientific determination of where this outbreak of cholera actually came from. And there's also a difference between the sort of drinking water issue, so there isn't enough drinking water, and then where the contamination comes from, because it doesn't seem to come from the plant.
And this is exactly what we had spoken about at this particular briefing. Back in 2018, a Water and Sanitation Department program report actually spoke about that by 2030 there may be a deficit of 13% of water supply to South Africa, in that the government wouldn't be able to supply water to all of its residents. This is due to mismanagement of funds, perhaps lower levels of rainfall. So they may have foresaw the infrastructure challenges as well. But speaking towards the differences between infected water and perhaps water which isn't fit for consumption, there was a key difference which the mayor had looked to perhaps make that exceptionally clear, that just because water is not drinkable does not mean it is necessarily infected by E. coli and would therefore be, if anyone had to drink, that would subsequently result in having cholera. So that is a key difference which they had made. But in terms of where exactly the source of this cholera outbreak had started out last week, that is still unclear. They say those investigations are continuing. There are some reports that a person from Messina had travelled into Hammanskraal. That's one of the reports. But those investigations will continue. Unfortunately, we had seen cases out in the Free State and Mpumalanga as of this morning, one person having lost their life already. So those investigations from the department will be continuing, and we're hoping that in some way or form this comes to an end sooner rather than later.
And then working together, so the National Department run, of course, by the ANC, the City of Tshwane run, of course, by the Democratic Alliance. The Minister and the Mayor seem to be getting on.
Very much so, and this seemed to have been very positive energy coming through from the beginning of that press conference earlier today. They're saying that this intergovernmental cooperation or cooperative governance, as Fikile Mbalula mentioned yesterday, is saying that's exceptionally important now, that, regardless of which political party you have, whichever color shirt you have on, at the end of the day, it's right now up for service delivery. The residents of Tshwane, the residents of Hammanskraal need to get their water supply up to scratch. So just because it's a DA-led mayor and an ANC minister, it's important for them to meet down the middle and ensure that services are being delivered. And that's the message which they had sent out today. And they say that they're hoping that this intentional way of showing that they are going to be working together will instill trust and confidence from investors and the public as well.
Ahmed Kajee, thank you very much indeed, our reporter on that story today. Well, interesting to see developments there. To other news.